Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing alright. So, this is a video for Matthew McConaughey and anybody, it's for everybody really, but my inspiration to make this video comes from thoughts that I've had about Matthew and some of the things he's spoken on, and I don't know, I guess what I hope could happen soon, for the betterment of all of humanity. So, me working, and I have been working. Today's the first day that I haven't wrote anything down in a few days. And that's largely because I've been helping another elderly veteran out, actually. He's a veteran, 25 years in the Army. His name is Kuhn. And he left the hospital because he says that they weren't feeding him. Now, he got hit by a car, a Cadillac, a little bit ago, and so his back is busted up, and his gut is messed up too. He has like a rib that's protruding. I mean, not through the skin, but it's clearly, misshaped or been broken or bent somehow. So he's got a wheelchair, and he's able to walk a little bit, but sometimes he loses feeling in his legs. And then when he does feel his legs, they're an immense amount of pain. He is an alcoholic, so I'm also just helping to make sure he stays safe and taken care of, and we get food. And I mean, he flies the sign to get his money. That's how he receives his funds. He does have a check coming sometime soon. But, when that runs out, he, resorts to the streets. Now, him being here in Gainesville is, I haven't got his full story yet, but I think largely because he went to the hospital here. And since he left the hospital abruptly, he left with nothing. He left, as he calls it, butt-ass naked. So, I've been taking care of him for the past, like I said, couple of days. And he also wants once his check is in, he wants to take us both to Lake City. And it's a much smaller town. There's a church there. He knows people. That's what he calls his home. And this is like, you guys have heard me, people who are watching my channel, my blog, whatever you want to call it, know that this is not the first, in need of help, elderly person that I've helped out. There's been a number of them. And it's just, I do what I can with what I can, and I'm not always there all the time as much as they probably would like me to be, but, I'm trying to make more progress. I'm trying to be better. Like, there's a few nights when, me and him, like, he kind of just wandered off on his own when I was sitting somewhere waiting, and I decided to just leave because I was irritated, and I was also like, man, if you're able to just walk and without telling me anything with your wheelchair, then you really don't need me to cart you around everywhere. But, as I woke up and as I thought about things, I, felt bad about that decision. I have regret, I have sorrow, sadness about, not, completing the night in a good way. Because I'm the type of person that likes to say hi and goodbye. I like to do my good salutations. I like to give respect to the moment that we shared together and also greet each other in good energy and good company when we meet each other. But anyway, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a backstory about what's going on. Mark has left somewhere, I'm not sure where, but he's no longer at the Walmart parking lot. And he hasn't been there for a few days, so I'm not sure where he's at. Hello. I sent him a text just telling him I hope he's feeling all right and doing all right. And I also apologized because the other morning I didn't say hello to him. Usually I would go up to his van and see how he's doing, and I was just in a very kind of an antisocial mood. I just didn't feel like talking really to anybody. And, the night of the incident is what I'm calling it, when he got a little frisky with me or whatever you want to call it, it still kind of was like, still kind of working on how to handle that, So, yeah, I sent him a text apologizing. I don't know where he is or what he's doing. But, now it kind of works out because this guy Kuhn, who's almost 80 years old, by the way, he needs my help. He doesn't have anybody else out here who can take care of him or help him out. He's getting robbed from like every night. He does have an alcohol problem, and he's got a disability, or quite a few disabilities. Not to mention he's just 80 years old with nowhere to live. So, we got to all do what we can to help out those in need when we see them. and it's good to also do it in a way that's not, forcing them and telling them how bad they are, that they can't do this, and that this is all the reasons why. Sometimes it's good just to be there, to help love them through the moments and help, instruct and give wisdom, as you can and as it seems fit. But when you try to force things down people's throat, they're going to choke. You're choking them. It's just a forceful motion that it's not fluent, it's not flowing, it's not full of love. Love is gentle. There's a time to be angry, there's a time for the righteous fury, but not all the time. Not at all the time. That's really for very few and far between incidences, because when that happens, that's something supernatural is probably about to happen. It's not we're supposed to be kind, we're supposed to be giving, we're supposed to be sharing, we're supposed to be loving. We're not supposed to be bent up with all this righteous rage whenever we see one little thing that's going wrong, or when we get frustrated because somebody can't learn a lesson or grasp a concept that to us is just easy as pie, and for them it's just like the hardest thing in the world. Being forceful with that concept that they're having trouble learning, is not going to help as much as if you're just chill and, let it flow and be graceful with your words and your motions and your emotions. So anyway, now that I've given you guys a good, 6.5 minute, insight into what's going on to my, everyday lives, I would like getting back to Matthew McConaughey. And anybody else who's in a similar position. In my heart, my intuition, I feel like he's, again, I don't even know if he's watched any of my videos or anything like that, but in my heart, I feel like he at least has a desire to help out humanity in some type of profound way. And, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe he's also a Christian. So, this is important. These are very important facts, and him and his name carries a lot of weight, carries a lot of influence, has the ability to spread a message very far and wide and bring in a lot of attention. And so as I'm sitting here working on this blueprint to develop a whole new infrastructure for all of humanity, I'm getting hit also with I'm sitting here trying to develop a plan that is aligned with the way Babylon, these modern cities do things. And this is literally a message from God. This is literally creating a theocratical society here on earth, really the kingdom of heaven, the seeds for the kingdom of heaven. That's what this is. That's what I'm speaking about. So it's going to be different. We don't have, part of me doesn't feel like I should, essentially kind of conform to the way things are done here and now, business-wise, because it is not going to be that. It's going to completely change all of that. And the perception of humanity right now is in a state of, there's a lot of different states of it. A lot of people are, knee deep or, head deep or however far deep they are, and all sorts of sin and wickedness. And then there's a portion of humanity that's very loving and caring and has a good heart and good intentions, but they really don't know where to really put that. And if enough of us angels, enough of us good, we're all, I don't like calling people angels or not angels, but enough of us human beings come together in love, not just humans, all of creation. It's the love, though. That's really what we need, is large gatherings and groups of people working together and sharing what they have, whatever it is, whether it's resources or, their back or their heart, whatever it may be. We all got something to share. But that's the key. That's the essence that we need to help transmutate things here. And again, it doesn't have to require, a legitimate business plan and a license and all these things. You got to be careful with what state you're in and follow the laws and, this and that of the state. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, perceptional wise, we can break through these barriers that we've all been working and living under and get over the sense of ownership, and do things more out of the love for each other and ourselves rather than just for ourselves and our immediate family, or even just to continue to expand. Because I don't know, but I feel like Matthew's probably got, if not one, at least a couple of charity organizations already going, which is beautiful and great. And that's the area that we need to be putting more attention into. But it's just not, it's not going to be enough to really change things in a very dramatic way. And me being here on the streets for almost 3 months, I've met a lot of different people I've gotten to see how the homeless live. I've gotten to experience a lot of homeless situations. I've absorbed a lot of homeless energy. And homelessness is a big problem in America. And based on the way things are going with the economy and the war and supply chain and all these things, it doesn't seem to be going to get any better. So this idea that I have of us literally just working together and growing hemp and other vegetables and developing small businesses that are inexpensive businesses. That's my new word. Instead of nonprofit, we're going to inexpensive businesses that redistribute funds to organizations in places that are in dire need, and create organizations to actually combat and solve these problems. That's what it's all about. We're essentially we're doing the job of the government. This is what the government should be doing, but they're not doing it. So that's fine, because the government's been sold out. It's corrupted. It's corrupted to the point of corrosion, and it's falling apart, and that's what they want, and we're watching it fall apart right before our eyes. And the plan to solve it is very simple. A love of money is the root of all evil. We live in a free market society where everybody's trying to sell. Everybody's trying to get more. Everybody's trying to profit. Everybody's trying to get a raise. That's all a love or a desire for more money, for money. Even if people don't do it because they want the money, the more attention they put into these jobs, year after year after year after year after year, just develops an attachment to money. Even if they don't want it, just because they're paying their taxes so much and they watch all these commercials and they live in a place where they judge others because however much money they make and this and that, and you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and they hold things from the past, and that lets things mess up things in the present, which messes up things in the future, and it really all needs to go. Perceptually wise, when you have unconditional love for everybody, you don't hold grudges. You don't forget when people make mistakes and they don't learn from them, but you definitely don't hold a grudge and continue to shame somebody for a mistake that they made. So anyway, my point is, I'm just trying to help inspire humanity and people like Matthew who are in a position similar to his to use their influence, to use, yes, their resources, not all of it, but you can use some of your resources to help. I'm on the streets and sometimes I'll give, I may only have a few bucks and I'll still share the little bit that I have with somebody else, and the Lord knows what you need. He has everything you need. He's never gonna, these people with a lot of money, how do you think the Lord's gonna leave you without anything if you were to help donate a good cause? You don't think something's gonna come back from that? Now, you shouldn't do it for that reason, but you gotta think about karmatically and also just paying it forward and putting your treasures not in this material world, but in heaven. That's where the real currency is. That's where the real good energy is. That's where the good genes or geniuses really come from and exist from, is from doing the good works, is from being your genuine self, which goes back to being more like your God self, knowing the knowledge between good and evil, and knowing the difference, having the discernment to be able to make decisions that are aligned with good and not evil. And, I don't like breathing fire up anybody's, being, but to withhold an abundance of wealth when there's simple solutions that we can start working on, and there's people, we can start creating an area for people to get away from these toxic cities, to give the homeless people jobs, to develop a medical center to help prove that hemp can actually cure cancer. We're talking about the cure for cancer here, as well as programs and charities and donations to help solve all the the eating situations in Africa, the starving children, the sick children in Africa. All these things can be solved with hemp. Hemp grows quickly. You can get a vertical farm growing system and do it without even having soil. Okay, there's ways we can use alternative technology to get energy. All the tools we have are here. There's really not a good reason why, it's not, more's not being done, other than, I know myself, I haven't been doing as much as I can. I try to push it, each and every day, but some days aren't my best. I'm always trying to strive forward, though. Some days I may not be capable of really striving forward, but you're really always moving in a direction, and I think it's all to help us grow. So you really are always moving forward, or, growing it, but it depends on what rate and what level of growth you have. So, it's a real simple idea. We just start growing hemp and vegetables and other things like that. So you can even be raising cattle or something, and we might need to hire a green thumb But honestly, I know Dustin, the dude I've talked about a few times, his whole family is like deep into the growing business. Like, I know people in Oregon who are deep in the growing business. I'm sure Matthew probably knows people who are deep in the growing business. So like, all the skills are there that we need. Everything is there. It's our perception that's holding us back. It's our perception that keeps us from really loving each other and breaking down our barriers. Okay, and sharing what we have, and also acknowledging that none of us own anything, man. This is God's. If you believe in God, then He is the creator of all of this. So how can you claim to own anything? Yeah, you can possess some things, but how much does one man or one family really need to possess? Like, do you not think that it may look bad in God's eyes if you're holding on to a bunch of possessions that you're not even able to possess? And at the same time, you're aware of solutions and developing good situations to help heal the rest of humanity, and you have the resources to do it. And not only do you have the resources to do it, but you also have people like myself and others whom I know that are willing to work with you and do it, not for money. I mean, we need a little bit to get by and this and that, but we're talking like low wages, like minimum wage type pay, if that, really. Like, I don't, like, it's weird. Once I get what I need, like, I have no desire to make any more money. There's just this thing that just leaves me where I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't need anything else. This is all I needed. I'm fine. Like, I want to go do something fun or help somebody out or work on the project or be with people that I love. That's the most important thing to you, or to me. I shouldn't say you, because I don't know what's going on with you, but it's time that we need to get through these things, man. It's time we need to push past the bullshit and the weight that's keeping us anchored down and lift ourselves up, uplift each other and ourselves while we do it. We have to defeat this kingdom of darkness. There's nothing is guaranteed. God's always going to win, but what place we have in His eyes, that's up to us to decide. It's up to us to decide. When we get up there in heaven and we see the glory of the Father before us all, we're all going to answer for what we had, what we did, and what we had, and what we were able to do, and what we did with what we were given gifts to do. So if you go up there, and you were given a whole bunch of resources and success and fame and all this and all that, and you chose to do very little with it or nothing with it or evil things with it, that's going to come back on you with God's glory. You're going to get to feel what it feels like to withhold all of that. It's a lot of pain. It's a huge responsibility, I know, but that's because you are great. You are powerful. You are successful. God put you there for a reason. And it's more than you just making money and, making movies and, taking care of your family. People like that have been given, millions upon millions and millions of dollars, that is way more money than they need just for themselves and their little family. Okay, that's a huge amount of money that can be put to a lot of really good use. And I don't have it all figured out, but I have a desire to figure it out. I know a good collection of people that also have a desire to figure it out and also would be willing to work for practically nothing just to get what they need, just to do a good job. And once this seed gets started, and once, it's going to be an example for the rest of humanity. And with, again, somebody's name like Matthew's behind it or with it, attached to it, and others, it's just going to grow in popularity. We can offer the people a completely alternate way of living. But we got to take the steps. We got to take the risks. We got to break, our perceptual barriers and push through them into something different, into something new, into something that's truly righteous and divine. So I encourage you all to do it, man. I know I said this was inspired by Matthew, and I have been thinking about him a lot lately, but it's really for everybody. Everybody and anybody. So, all right, y'all. I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.